Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Manuel. Today is National Manufacturing Day. Our Josh Stuttle stopped by an event highlighting all the manufacturing happening in the Southern Tier and tells us about how companies across the region are getting young people involved.
Today is National Manufacturing Day here in the Southern Tier. The GST BOCES Bush campus was filled with students and vendors to kick off the start of National Manufacturing Day. Senator Tom Elmyra tells Big Fox News more.
This is a career development day that's being hosted by BOCES, bringing students of all grade levels here. It's based on manufacturing today. We have manufacturers from across the region that are here showing what products they manufacture, talking about what career opportunities there are in the manufacturing sector, which we have a very strong manufacturing sector in the Southern Tier.
Brian Harlacher from Jable Healthcare discusses the importance their program has within the community.
We're a local manufacturer based right here in the Southern Tier, making orthopedic implants that help people put people back together after a traumatic injury. We work with some really high-tech equipment, some multi-axis CNC equipment. We've got robotics, we've got chemical finishing, we've got all kinds of cool stuff that we do to bring these implants that we make for people, bring them to life.
Today's event is to showcase the importance of manufacturing and the impact it has within the community. Josh Stuttle, Big Fox News, Elmyra.
The city of Elmyra is offering you a chance to get rid of unwanted furniture and appliances. If you have items you want to get rid of, you need to register with the city's clerk office and pay a $35 fee by Wednesday by 3 p.m. of each week. Pickup is on Fridays. All you need to do after registering is leave your unwanted items on the curb and they will be picked up. For more information on the service, you can call the city clerk's office at the number on your screen. A Unity in the Community event is taking place tomorrow at Wisner Park. The free event is sponsored by Dr. Stephen Coleman and Chemung County Sheriff William Schramm. You can come show your support for local officers. The event starts at 1 p.m. and will end at 2. In a stunning reversal, the Biden administration is about to begin building a border wall in Texas. It's meant to address the crisis at the border. But as Doug Luzader reports from Washington, it's putting the president in an uncomfortable position.
Well, the president suggests he doesn't want to do this, but his hands are tied. But his own Department of Homeland Security says there is an immediate need for action.
We've all seen the images. Immigrants streaming across the southern border in record numbers. Now the Biden administration is turning to a tactic they once denounced, building a border wall, with the Department of Homeland Security warning there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
President Biden said it won't work, but he had no choice. It's required by Congress. But at the same time, he's come under enormous pressure from Democratic mayors of cities like New York and Chicago who say he has to act. And despite the president's apparent reluctance, the administration is pulling out all of the stops to build the wall as quickly as possible, waiving more than 24 environmental laws to clear the way, as his DHS secretary scrambled to say nothing has changed.
This administration has made clear that a border wall is not the answer.
And it is a clear contradiction to a Biden campaign promise.
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration.
The former President Trump, so often the target of President Biden's criticism over border policies, seemed to revel in the reversal, writing on social media, "I will await his apology."
Now, the plan is to move forward now on about 20 miles of new border wall in South Texas. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
New York Congressman George Santos' ex-campaign treasurer pleads guilty to conspiring to defraud the U.S. government. Nancy Marx, a close aide to Santos during his 2 congressional bids, entered the plea at a federal courthouse on Long Island. As part of her plea, Marx admitted she and Santos submitted fake finance reports. One report included a bogus $500,000 loan from Santos, who never had the money to loan. The goal was to make it appear his campaign was well funded in order to attract other donors. She also admitted to giving the Federal Elections Commission a fake list of people who had supposedly given money to the congressman's campaign.
This man with his lies and manipulations has ruined many a life. Nancy Marx was a well-respected campaign treasurer, political operative, basically. helped a lot of young clients do a lot of good things. She meets him, and with lies and manipulations, playing on her weaknesses, she had to admit to these crimes today.
Marx's plea agreement includes a recommendation she serve more than 3 years in prison. There was no talk in court, however, of a deal with prosecutors for Marx to cooperate against Santos. A man who injured 10 people in a shooting in a New York City subway car is sentenced. A federal judge sentenced Frank James to 10 concurrent life sentences, 1 for each victim, plus an additional 10 years. The shooting happened in Brooklyn in April of 2022. The shooter disguised himself as a construction worker and began shooting at people when the train was between stations. In addition to the life sentences, the judge sentenced the shooter to an additional 10 years on a gun charge. The numbers are out and the labor market is still hot. Edward Lawrence breaks down the September jobs report and explains how it will dictate the Fed's next move.
The U.S. adding a whopping 336,000 jobs in September, that number blowing past the economist's estimate of 170,000. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.8%, also higher than estimates, and the labor force participation rate clocking in at 62.8%.
I'm not surprised by this number. You looked at the JOLTS number where you have a lot of job openings, and that was an indication that I thought you would see a pretty good number.
Industries seeing job gains include transportation and warehousing, leisure and hospitality, manufacturing, healthcare, and government. The Fed now in focus, with some saying the strong jobs report means the central bank will keep rates higher for longer.
It may even push up the Fed's notion of what the long-term break-even or neutral rate of the interest rate should be going forward to keep inflation under control. And as that happens, you'll see the entire long end of the curve shift higher.
The Fed has sharply increased borrowing costs to tame inflation, but it risks a recession if it keeps raising rates. The agency is worried an ongoing labor shortage could spur bigger wage increases and add to price pressures. But in a welcome sign for the Fed, hourly wages rose a mild 0.2% in September. The increased wages over the past year slowed again to 4.2%. Meanwhile, the numbers for July and August were revised up by 119,000 jobs, a huge jump, putting pressure on inflation. At the White House, Edward Lawrence, Fox Business.
Your weekend forecast is coming up next. Plus, Walmart says shoppers are putting less food in their shopping carts because of weight loss drugs. Ahead, we take a look at these popular drugs. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, good evening. A season-changing frontal system has been sliding its way on through the state, and we're noting that we're lying just on the edge of that. That was bringing more widespread activity as we step through the afternoon and into the evening. And we're watching that as that system pushes off. You can see the switch in those winds bringing in more of a northwesterly wind, staying light, but it means that we are following on the backside of that system, which is breaking up some of those chances, but we're still going to stay underneath that activity. We're just on the edge of that system. So areas will definitely continue to show more of that wet weather pattern. Could even still be clipped by some of those widespread showers for the eastern portion of the state into our Saturday. And then as we head into Sunday and Monday, it is going to become more sparse activity, but we're going to stay underneath that strong, more westerly, northwesterly flow that's going to keep conditions on the brisk side. So talking at least some brisk shower chances again through Sunday, potentially starting to see some bigger breaks in those shower chances Monday and Tuesday, but we'll still talk about some chances there due to those cooler winds moving over some of those warmer lake waters. Now we are staying below normal, so grab those fall flannels, pull out those fall soup recipes, as we are going to keep these conditions at least through much of next week. Could look at a return of some more mild conditions as we work into our third week of October, but expected at least for a week. Now we will keep an eye on some drying that will take hold by at least the middle of the week. So as we head head into our Saturday, make sure to have the rain gear on hand and that extra layer, as we'll stay under at least a chance for those scattered showers. Not expecting any thunder risk really, but we'll watch that. Definitely a break in the cloud cover could even be possible by the end of the day, but it's not going to warm those temperatures up. We are going to hold within those 50s and just touch those lower 60s, and there is cooler air on its way. We have pretty light west-northwesterly winds around for our Saturday, but by Sunday, those winds start to pick up, as what we'll see is the low pressure system from the surface levels through the upper atmosphere will become nearly permanent between the Great Lakes and the Hudson Bay, and that's what's going to keep us underneath that flow of some scattered showers and some of these stronger winds, which will create that brisk feel again with some scattered showers. So 60s don't sound too bad when it comes down to October weather. Now the gloomy and wet skies will definitely bring a chill to the air, but as we head from the 60s Saturday into our Sunday, where highs will only be into the 50s, you'll feel that more late October chill in the air, as these temperatures are at least about 5 up to 10 degrees below normal. Some spots even cooler there, as we're seeing those lower 50s up through portions of Wheeling. Now we keep those conditions around, as mentioned, into Monday. Tuesday will start to bring in some drying. It gives us some relief in those temperatures, but still going to talk about more of those cool and gloomy conditions to push on as we head through much of next week.